Alright, Piss of Vinegar, day 106. So today's topic, I want to talk about power building and how it's fucking stupid. I think Natural Hypertrophy made a video. Honestly, I don't watch pretty much anyone's videos at this point in my life. I don't watch any fitness content, but what I do is I look for basically topics to talk about that other people are circulating, and drama is going around, and it's good for the algorithm because, you know, that's the thing at the moment is power building. Because he made a video, and then it seems like Mike Israel or some super sciencey guy decided that that was stupid and he's wrong, and power building's perfectly fine. Seems people are against him, and I actually agree. I don't know. I probably don't agree for the same reasoning, but power building is stupid. Fundamentally, I don't know if people have, if anyone's talked about this, but if they haven't, the reality is powerbuilding is just fucking powerlifting. Powerlifting is, most powerlifting programs have hypertrophy or, you know, bodybuilding accessories after your main lift. So you have big three lifts. If it's push day, you do your bench press, you do a bunch of volume to get as neurologically as efficient as possible, whilst building maybe some strength and muscle, you know, raw muscular strength, but mostly you're developing the central nervous system. And you're doing, you know, different intensity levels and volume levels depending on your phase and periodization, all the different things that go into programming powerlifting. But after that, if it's, say, push day, you then oftentimes, on a good powerlifting program, follow that up with accessories that will build the raw muscular strength and size. A bigger muscle equals a stronger muscle. So you'd follow up that bench press with, say, a incline dumbbell press, and then you'd follow that up with a fly and then a tricep extension. One of the best, you know, powerlifting programmers out there is Greg Knuckles, and that's he swears by that. You do the powerlifting, the lift at hand that you're trying to get neurologically efficient at, and then you simply follow that up with bodybuilding. It's very, very, very common. That's powerlifting. But I don't know what power building then really is. Like, is it more convoluted than that even so? And if so, why? There's no reason. Powerlifting is actually really fine for bodybuilding. The difference is, a lot of times people that do powerlifting, they'll skip their accessories, or they don't think about time and attention, or they don't train with enough intensity on the accessories, or whatever it is, so they don't get the physique. A big part of powerlifters not having the physique of the bodybuilders is simply their body composition, their fat. They might also not be genetically inclined to be bodybuilders, so you don't see them, you know, really talking about bodybuilding. Whereas someone who's genetically inclined to do bodybuilding will do bodybuilding. So it's partially that. Training is training, and, you know, it will build the muscles relatively evenly depending if you're hitting enough intensity. So powerlifting, essentially, this power building is bullshit because it's just powerlifting. And if you aren't, you know, if you're doing powerlifting and you're doing a program for whatever reason that doesn't have accessories, well, that's simply how you do power building then, is just take the main lift and now add accessories and do, you know, the volume or ideally high intensity training in your accessories. So you'd follow the bench press up with incline and a fly and a tricep and maybe another tricep to get the muscle strength and raw capacity, which will then inherently help out the bench press that is only really adapting for your neurological adaptations. So also, in saying this, it's kind of retarded to do powerlifting generally anyway, because unless you're looking to be competitive at the bench press, bodybuilding, especially high intensity bodybuilding, will get you strong. You might not be as efficient as the guy who's bench pressing 3-4 times a week, but you'll still get 90% of the way there, if not maybe all the way there. It's really it's unprecedented. Well, no one's really tread those waters. No one's really tried to do powerlifting through high intensity means, because it makes so much sense to do it for neurological adaptations. But in saying that, you know, unless you want to be a powerlifter and a competitive one at that, and you want to be fat and fucking training all the fucking time with all this volume frequency, which I fucking hated powerlifting because of that, really, you're going to get pretty strong just doing bodybuilding or ideally high intensity programming. And this ties into raw and learnt strength, as I've mentioned in a previous video. Just because a powerlifter can bench press more than a strongman or a bodybuilder doesn't equate to more raw strength in his pecs or triceps. Oftentimes, it's demonstrable that these strongmen and even bodybuilders have better raw strength. You put them on a machine where no technical prowess is required, and their exponentially stronger than the powerlifter, who's simply just very neurologically adapted to the bench press. Now, this isn't to say that that person who's a really strong bench presser isn't going to have a bunch of raw strength. Obviously, they will be, because they've been training with some intensity and a decent amount of time attention. So, of course, their raw output will be decent, but it can very well be inferior to the bodybuilder or powerlifter who has more of that raw, true strength, especially high-intensity trainees. So, you know, you kind of have to then also understand the reality of powerlifting. Well, who's to say that this bench press, squat, and deadlift is the ultimate test of strength? I think strongman is a far better test of strength just based in its name alone, based off its popularity. And look at the guys. They're fucking huge, and they're so brutally strong. You put them on machines, and the machines, they don't even fit in the fucking machines, but they can lift so much more than a powerlifter or a bodybuilder because they have that raw strength. Because a lot of times, strongmen do a lot more bodybuilding-esque movements. They do a lot of accessories. They do a lot of different ranges of things. So that's another thing. Like, why do you need to do powerlifting? Just simply do the powerlifting lifts within the bodybuilding parameters. You might not get as strong as the guy who's neurologically massively adapted, but you'll be pretty fucking strong. You'll have good pressing strength. And also, you know, if you can say you don't even do bench presses because you're just like, whatever, I don't fucking care about the bench press. Like me, I don't really do much bench pressing until very recently. I didn't start bench pressing again. If you can incline dumbbell press, say 60 kilo dumbbells or 135 pound dumbbells for 10 reps, which is a far more ideal bodybuilding movement for most, indirectly your bench press is going to be pretty fucking strong. If you can incline dumbbell press 60 kilo dumbbells, you're likely to be a 3, maybe even 3.5, 4 plate bencher from being so strong at that dumbbell. And that's raw strength, because you don't even bench press, but you just have that raw strength capacity. And then if you decided to then get really specific and start bench pressing on a frequent basis, you could get that up to a 5 plate bench because all the neurological adaptations would start kicking in. So, you know, those neurological adaptations, they're there for the taking. If at some point you decide you want to get really good at the bench, it'll go up really quickly and you'll have the raw strength to carry you most of the way. So, I don't know, power building, I mean, I do know, power building is fucking stupid. It doesn't make sense. It is already inherently powerlifting within itself 99% of the time. And it's convoluted by all means. Everything I've seen on power building, albeit I haven't read into a lot of power building programs, but it doesn't make any sense. I couldn't imagine any rational explanation why you would do power building over just simply just doing power lifting with accessories. I don't know. Any more rationalization, I'm just going to be ranting, because there's so many things I can continue on top of this. But really, if you want your big 3 really strong, but you also want to be big and muscular, start off your day, your, say, push workout with the bench press, do a bunch of volume, do periodization, do, you know, all the different things that will work decently. You don't have to over convolute it either. And then follow that up with the bodybuilding work, like the incline dumbbell press, you know, dumbbell presses and flies and stuff that will give you a much better contractile, you know, force, and you'll be able to really isolate the pecs and, you know, bodybuilding work essentially, ideally with high intensity training, and you will have the neurological adaptations with the, you know, hypertrophy that you get from the bodybuilding sides of things, and you'll have the best of both worlds, which really that's what power building should be named, but it's not. It doesn't. It's this extra huge, massively convoluted thing, and it's a marketing gimmick at the end of the day. The, you know, exercise science is pretty set in stone. It's pretty obvious what works, and this is why a lot of people don't do high intensity. Unfortunately, is there's so many gimmicks out there, and it's really easy to get gimmicky with the volume, because there's so many training parameters you can throw into volume. Whereas with high intensity, there's not much to it. It's straight up, you just train to failure. And then beyond that, if you want to keep going beyond failure, you have force reps, drop sets, and, you know, rest pauses. There's not much to it. So it's not as palatable, and it's not as tricky, and you can't, you know, write a fucking a giant ebook on it. Although you can, but anyway, the videos are just to end. But basically, I've gone way off track. High intensity is far less convoluted. Power building is a marketing gimmick, essentially, in my eyes, and it doesn't make much sense at all. Just simply, realistically, just train high intensity, and you'll get 90% of the way on your, you know, big 3 anyway. All right, see you guys for more Piss and Vinegar tomorrow. Bye bye.